honored to welcome Diane Gilman, an entrepreneur, fashion innovator, author, and motivational speaker, known to millions as the Jean Queen. Diane revolutionized fashion for women by creating designs that celebrated confidence, comfort, and individuality. She built a multi-million-dollar brand through determination and unwavering belief that women deserve to feel empowered at every stage of life.
I am honored to have you today, and so our audience wanted to see who Diane is and wanted to hear all of your ins and outs, all of your secrets, and how you operate, how you navigate, what's inspired you, and everything that you are.
Well, where should we begin? For almost my entire life, even as a child, I was very concerned with what I would do with my life as I grew older. And I never wanted to retire. But at the age of 72, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had to take time off to fix that, get treatment. And when I came back on air, COVID had made tele-retail different. HSN was not the same, HSN QVC. My body was not the same. It couldn't take being in a studio from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. and then being back in that studio fully dressed and on air at 8 a.m. until midnight. And I had to try and reinvent myself. 30 years on air. And suddenly you realize you've got to figure out what your skills were, what you gathered along the way in terms of second talent, wisdom, drive. And it was just an immense reinvention.
So it's almost like you have those phases to reinvent yourself. So it wouldn't be an obstacles, it would be a reinvention. I really like that. It's very classic.
You know, it's classic, but at the same time, let's say I was 45 years old and I saw cable TV fading. I saw tele-retail, HSN QVC fading. I realized I had to leave while I was still on top, but I had to become something else and maybe somebody else, no longer the queen of jeans. But I was 78 when I left, and I still thought it was too early.
Right.
And I saw that what I had built over 30 years and been part of a whole tele-retail revolution was not going to exist in a couple of years. You know, HSN QVC just went bankrupt. And so they will come back, but it, you know,
A different form.
totally. And now at the age of 80, I've got to make myself.
You're still prime.
Oh yeah. I am somebody who is part of that whole club that includes incredible people like Mick Jagger, that at the age of 83 are still killing it, just came out with their album, and it's the two songs I was previewed off of it are masterpieces. I'm out with a mission, and a very important mission, which is we are living longer, but nobody tells us what to do with it. We're living longer and we're very concerned with longevity, but nobody gives us any sense of self-worth as a female. And so it's not only myself that has to redefine my life, it's a whole couple of generations that have to ask themselves, what am I going to do with this extra 20 or 30 years? And how am I going to make it meaningful, productive? How am I going to share it with society? It, I'm tackling some big issues here.
Well, from what I see, you're fabulous and you're a queen.
Thank
And
you.
with just to have a brief information about you and everything that you have achieved, I mean, you are a woman of power. And to translate that to me, and to other women, how to compose and how to have balance in work and how to have balance at home and with children and success and business and this and that, because like you said, we're reinventing ourselves.
We have to. And with the idea of longevity, one thing, Tatiana, that absolutely fascinated me about doing this podcast with you is I call myself and my whole tribe OGs. No, not original gangstas, old girls. We are old girls. And we're not trying to be young girls again. We're trying to redefine
New
what
girl,
old girl means, right? And
making movements, new girl.
you as a gold medalist, I can tell you that going into my 60s, my 70s, and now particularly my 80s, you have to be like you're training to win a gold medal in the Olympics. Everything is different. No more excuses. Good diet, exercise, whether you're in the mood or not. Everything that made you a gold medalist is within the realm of longevity and doing the most that you can past the age of, let's say, 50, 55, with who you are as a female. And when I walked away from my 31-year career on television, for a moment, I felt like an empty nester. I had never had children, but I could see the feeling of, oh, wow, the phone stopped ringing. What do I do now? What? And you have to figure out yourself. I am sure for the field that you were in and the talent that you had in gymnastics, what do you do next? Did you feel that when you walked away from it on a level of intensity of the Olympics that you were asking yourself that question?
Absolutely not. No. When I was on the podium, I was not asking myself what's next. No.
Whoa.
Yes, yes, but I had to reinvent myself, stepping in from the top Olympic podium to actually follow my passion, what is truly that I wanted to do. I try many things, and what I end up doing, because I absolutely love teaching children. I love spending time with children, and that is my main full-time job right now. For 32 years, I teach little kids from age 2 to the 55 years old gymnast that I do have that comes to my gym, which is means
Wow.
and adult gymnastics I have in my gym, and that's my primary job. And it took me 32 years to kind of see and test myself, where am I good at, where my knowledge can be useful, and where I can be successful. Like you said, we need to reinvent ourselves, and we need to keep on trying ourselves. Where are we good at, and there's many things that I have done and I just drop it because it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't successful. And I was like, okay, that's okay. I tested, I tried, I need to move on. Tested, tried, move on. Tested, tried, move on until you hit that it. what
That
is
sweet spot. Yeah.
my heart. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that I was such a late bloomer. I had always been successful in fashion, but when I turned 60 and I really hated my pudgy, big around the middle-aged body and invented the middle-aged jean, whoa, it was a magic moment and it was instant, just rocket ship success of sales. And we went to, at the peak, 100 million a year at retail. So I think that one of my biggest issues, retiring at 78, which I still considered young, but just had to deal with what breast cancer had dealt me, and just in terms of all the things that chemotherapy does to you. I needed something more appropriate for where my body and my energy were at. Um, I think it's a surprise and the lack of belief people have, like, what? You're doing something at 80? You're working that hard? Well, when you love what you do,
It's not work.
it's not hard work. It's passion. And I was lucky enough to find a second passion beyond fashion design, which was communication with a female community and wanting to build a female community that had where I could lend them a sense of
Comfort.
pride about themselves and how worthwhile their efforts were going into it, understanding if they had that empty nest syndrome, perhaps how to choose what to do next to fill in those spots that seemed like they needed some action. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating reinventing yourself when you've been almost one thing for 50 years. I was in the fashion industry over 50 years and saying, oh no, okay, now I'm 78. I think I'll just become a silver haired influencer and a podcaster. Yikes. But I
And
work,
you're killing it.
yeah,
Good.
not just like that. But you know what? Know yourself as you get older. You know yourself. You know yourself. You love working with children. I love having a public, verbal, emotionally based platform that hopefully says to women, your lifespan is 86, 87 years old. Let's figure out what you're going to do with it. That's going to give you joy, satisfaction, a sense of purpose, a sense of self-worth, and let's go for it.
Love, self-love too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Diane, I really like, I did little research on your jeans and designs. What I really loved about that, you truly cared about the design, especially in the waist area for women. I really like that touch because when we are changing from 40 to the 50 and to the to the higher number, there is something happening in our bodies, in our female bodies. And no matter how hard some women working out, they wanted to feel comfort. They do not want it to feel discomfort in that particular area. I really love that implement and that detail that you did not overlook, but actually implemented into your jeans so everybody feel comfortable in the waist area. That is
Well, it was really personally based to begin with. I had built my name in fashion on doing washable printed silk, where I did a lot of the paintings myself. They were reinterpreted into clothing, and I loved it. And I loved the painting aspect of it and changing it into silk screens, but I didn't necessarily want to wear it. I had dressed rock and roll stars in the 60s and the 70s, including Janis Joplin, Cher, it goes on, and incredible times. And I wanted to get back into jeans again, and I had a middle-aged body. I couldn't. And so what I really did was design a jean for myself, not based on industry standards, but based on a true middle-aged body that was struggling with being reshaped in a shape that I wasn't thrilled with. And I remember I went out and bought 3 yards of denim. I had a sewing factory within New York City at the time, a small factory, and I asked everyone to work with me, and we made the pattern and had the machinery and put it together. And I remember walking out after not being able to wear a pair of jeans for maybe 8 years, since I was 52, and suddenly being seen as younger, hipper, sexier, more current, more interesting. And I thought, this is not just for me. This is for millions of women.
Yes.
And then I had to set out within my industry and find somebody who believed in me, even though I had a current business going, but I wanted to do this now and test it and try it. And nobody believed in me. It was like, no, middle-aged females don't wear jeans. And I said, they don't wear jeans because they don't have a jean to wear. And I convinced somebody, and I was given 1 hour on HSN, where I was already well known, to introduce it. And we didn't need an hour. We sold out in 3 minutes and had nothing left to sell for the rest of the hour. We sold it all. And
Wow.
I thought, okay, I've hit a vein here. I've hit an interest point that women had been feeling for years, but didn't know how to identify or get to. And it was
It was a
really amazing.
Yes. Wow. Congratulations. That is it's a huge success. And it's your success. And you just said that nobody believed in you. My personal question, like how did it make you feel that when you saw something and you felt something so deeply that this would be success? But at the same time, when somebody said that, that's okay, maybe it's not, how did it make you feel? Were you devastated?
I had sort of had that reaction for my entire career. My parents did not want me to be in fashion, and my parents didn't want me to work. They just wanted me to get married. And so I had that incredible pushback, even as a kid, because I knew what I wanted to do from the time I was like 4 years old. And it was always, don't be silly, and you're going to fail, and there's no industry there, and this is so stupid, and why don't you just marry a Jewish doctor or a lawyer? And I didn't want to do it. I knew what I wanted to do. And then um, they wouldn't send me to fashion school or design school. So when I got to a point beyond designing denim for rock and roll stars where I wanted to be professional and move back to New York, move to New York, um, nobody would hire me because I had no education. So every step of my way in my career, I had to fight for what I believed in, and I believed in my own talent 100%. And My career just developed organically. I think that one of my bigger talents is seeing opportunity or turning a no into a yes when other people would not identify that. And so I was very lucky at HSN. We got a new CEO. She was female, Mindy Grossman, brilliant, and had been there at the founding moment of Polo Ralph Lauren jeans. So I knew she understood jeans,
Mm-hmm.
and that helped a lot. And then I just begged. I think I was so relentless in asking, and it was always, yeah, but. And then finally one day she didn't say but anymore. I think she just thought, let's get it over with, and gave me an hour, and it worked. And I recognized how much it worked. And then after doing that for about a year and a half, I thought, wait a minute, we're leaving money on the table here. QVC has an international audience. They've got broadcasting in UK, Germany, Australia, France, Italy. And so I went to QVC and begged them to let me just give me one chance. Let me try UK. At least it was the same language, right? I didn't have to deal with reinterpretation. And I said, if I don't shoot to number one instantly, I understand you don't want me. But if I do, which I believe I will, then I want all the other countries. And we did. And I
That's
did. Yeah, I saw the truth. I saw my truth. I saw my talent. And I think probably one of the best features about me is if I'm devastated, I just pick myself up, dust myself off, and find a way to get around that to what I know
right.
is success.
Because you were keep on showing up for yourself. And, like in the past year and a half, I've been broadcasting this message, keep on showing up for yourself because you whatever you're trying to set your goal, whatever you're trying to achieve, you have to keep on showing up for yourself because you're not showing up, from 8 to 5 or from 9 to 6. You're showing up for yourself, meaning you have to be available for yourself at any time in order to achieve that success.
Yeah, 24/7. You know, nobody is going to invest in you or believe in you unless you truly believe in yourself. So in your quietest, most private moments, you can be very honest with yourself at what you do best, what you believe your road should be. And I always say, remember, you didn't have to start big. Amazon started as a little bookstore out of a garage, right? Facebook started out of a dorm room in Mark Zuckerberg's spare time. And the biggest, one of the biggest talents to me, as I said, is just being alert to the universe will always show you where your opportunities are. And to be alert, recognize those, and have the courage to move forward on them and take advantage of them.
I have those questions for you, but I wanted to move on to what was the biggest no you ever received and how did you respond to it?
So many no's. I think the no for putting a gene on there, because before that female CEO came to HSN, there were several male CEOs. And even my business partner said to me when I brought up the idea, why would anybody want to see, quote, a fat old chick in a pair of fitted jeans?
Oh my.
Really? But there were two prejudices. One was females of a certain age can't or shouldn't look sexy anymore because jeans are sexy by nature. And second of all, who's going to want to back you with money to make something happen that is going to be a failure? So I think altogether, my biggest no was you can't sell a fitted bottom on television. It has to be big baggy stuff where you get it home and maybe you really were a size large, but yeah, you can still get into a medium because it's so big and baggy. Um, I
Just one.
thought a million no's, but I believe truly in your heart of hearts, when you know something should be a yes, you should keep on pushing for it. No matter how tiresome you get, no matter how obnoxious somebody thinks you could be. And I remember even the female CEO said, Diane, you'll never sell a fitted bottom on TV. And we've tried jeans before, and she was scary. I mean, she was really smart and really famous and really experienced. And I just shot back and said, yeah, you showed regular jeans with no spandex in them on some soap opera star who had a 20-inch hip measurement. Of course, the audience didn't respond. They could never be her.
Right.
They're more me, and I'm going to show it all. Um, Sometimes the biggest no's become the most amazing yes. But you got to believe in yourself and you got to fight for what you believe in, or it would have never happened.
And
Because it was all 100% for a couple of years no's.
and
Yeah,
you have to have that strong will, and you have to have a strength inside of you to
passion.
keep on moving forward. Yes. When tasks feel overwhelming, what practices are you using to keep going? Name top three.
I think the first thing is I will listen to other people, but I listen to my inner self most of all. I particularly find as I grow older that people like 40 years younger than me all have a lot of advice. You should be. How would you know? You're 40, not 80. Come on. Second of all, I think it is a hallmark, not a good one, of growing older from 50 on, where you start to deny the future. Like, oh, AI is bad. AI will never happen. Or, oh, I'm not ever going to want to participate in AI. Be open to the future for sure.
Receiving.
Otherwise, you are just going to calcify and sink as if your feet are bound in cement and you're thrown in the river. Um, and appreciate the younger generation. I surround myself with all ages because you've got to stay open and current, and you've got to understand that as you get older, the past is just that. the past. It may be great, but what are you doing right now? You may be worrying about the future, but it's not here yet, and it may not be anything to worry about by the time you get there. And so I think one of my greatest concerns and hopefully talents is appreciating and living in the now. Not easy.
We have to adapt faster
Oh,
and faster into everything that coming our way right now.
so right.
Even yes, even for the 40s and for the 50s.
For sure.
Everything that comes our way right now, I think that it is beautiful. It is something unknowing, but that's the beauty of the unknowing, that if you're willing to try, then you will learn faster and you will adapt faster.
Yeah, and there is so much that is fading. Like just for me, retail, shopping brick and mortar, shopping at shopping malls, adapting to shopping online, and then shopping TikTok and Instagram. And there is so much to open yourself up to that it can honestly be overwhelming. And believe it or not, I actually know women that won't email, that say, oh, that's terrible. I'm not, I like to do handwritten notes. Oh, and send them snail mail. Those are honestly issues where
I have to tell you, from time to time, it's good to receive those kind of notes.
it is, but I wouldn't be building a new career on it. Okay. I have to, like just I was struggling to get on Zoom with you today. I am the most untechnical human being alive. And even if I was half my age, 40, I would still be untechnical. And so that is my constant Mount Everest to climb, is learning latest technique. Unfortunately, shopping, whether it's Amazon or it's Instagram or it's TikTok shop, I'm really good at that. That I've mastered immediately.
Then I have another question. How can someone find the courage to start over, especially later in life?
I think you have to. I think that, well, let me put it this way. I think that a lot of us have a nature where we were always nurturing somebody else. Now it's time to nurture yourself. I think a lot of us led a corporate career life, and now it's time to start being productive for yourself. So, my biggest piece of advice is, what do you do well? What makes your heart beat faster? What do you have a passion for? It could be baking the best chocolate chip cookie in your town. It, I'll tell you a story, and to me, it is very indicative. A woman married, had a husband 10 years older. He grew ill. He went into the hospital. She went to visit him every day. She was an avid gardener. So after he was in the hospital for a couple of weeks and it looked like it was going to be a while, she started bringing him flowers from their garden every time she came. After a couple of weeks, one of the nurses said to her, "Your flowers are so beautiful. Do you mind if, after your husband has a few days of enjoying them, we transfer them to the floor below where there's sick children? We really think it would help them." She said, "Not at all." Then she started bringing extra flowers for the children's floor and delivering them. At a certain point, her husband grew more ill, and it appeared he was not going to make it. And in the meantime, she was bringing more flowers to cheer him up, and they said, your flowers are so beautiful. And everybody that passes his door looks in and says, oh, I wish I had those to give to my sick relative. Or would you consider making floral arrangements X amount a week that we could sell in our gift shop? He passed. She now has a national business supplying beautiful flower arrangements that she conceives of to hospitals all over her state. Find something that's your passion. Find something you want to do. And no matter how small of a scale you start on, you will love it. It will make your time feel very fulfilled and worthwhile. And the universe will show you the next steps to where you want to go with it. But it's your life. You are in control of that.
Captain.
Yeah. And that's something I think we don't believe. We give up control, especially as we grow older. And in fact, you should be more in control and more vigilant and more concerned with fulfillment and doing something for the good of your community or others as you get older. And society, this society in America, does not teach us that. So teach yourself.
Thank you. It's very wise, and it's very wise story. What is the difference between confidence and self-worth?
I think self-worth is a much bigger issue. I think it's a female issue, especially today. And an issue as you cross over in life from having children to not, and knowing who you are and what you are and what you can give back, because we in this country lead a very privileged life, and I think sometimes take it too for granted. Um, Confidence may honestly be sincere, it may be false, it may be bravado. I am not a very self-worthy kind of person. I have to remind myself of self-worth all the time. But when I find something I'm good at that I like, you can't put a dent in my confidence. You can take a hammer and try and break it open, but you're not going to be able to do that.
Yes. It's it's a shield.
Totally.
Yes,
It
it's a
totally
shield
is a
because you're
shield.
working so many years on yourself and on self-love and on your confidence. And I think in time, it's become a shield that nothing can get through that shield and nothing can
Hopefully.
stop you anymore.
Oh, yeah, but you and I were both in very hyper competitive careers. You being an athlete and having to depend on your body, what God gave you, and had developing your body.
I
And
want
for,
to win.
and for me, every single show was a win or lose. They expected $1 million an hour from you. Well, you did 1.25 million. But you think to yourself, I could have done 1.5 million if I had just redone it this way. So what I think is so parallel for us is we're very competitive people. And yet, that sense of self-worth, I know that I had to reinvent myself time and time again. Every time I did an HSN QVC show, well, that's what you did today. What are you going to do for me tomorrow? Are you going to get another gold medal tomorrow? Are you going to be able to keep it up? Are you going to be able to be superior or the number one? And that does not necessarily disappear or lessen with growing more mature. It just becomes more of a challenge. And how are you going to fulfill it? So you can honestly keep your life interesting with your true nature forever, but you've got to really do a little bit of study into who and what you really are and how to fulfill your purpose.
Thank you. How do you silence self-doubt when entering unfamiliar territory?
Ugh. I'm not sure I totally silence it. I'm still learning a lot about being a podcaster and allowing myself to be authentic. And I think it's more like a series of ups and downs, a series of waves. And what you have to do on the downside is believe there's going to be an upside again. We would all like to think that we just go up and then it's lateral. You're up there forever, but that is not how it is. And I think one of the greatest lessons I ever learned was from a star, Frank Sinatra, from my era, where he came on, his style of music and the way he delivered it was very much of his time. And then the Beatles came along and he became totally uncool. He went into acting, and then he sort of had not a lot of hit movies and nobody wanted to hire him again. But he just kept on trying. And he was humble enough to want to audition. And so I think it's if you just believe that life is not one trajectory and one level, and you're always going to be on top, or you're always going to be engaged, or you're always going to be wanted, and you may have to figure it out along the way several times and figure out what made you good and how come it fell back down again. You're much more prepared to live your life with purpose and pleasure.
Thank you. What advice would you give someone who feels it's too late to pursue a dream?
No, no, no. It's never too late to dream, and it's never too late to make your dreams come true. And one of my friends who passed at the age of 103, Iris Apfel, became a social media star at 85 years old without even trying. It was just coincidental. She was somebody who collected so many fashion accessories, and something happened at the Metropolitan Museum and they had a side gallery and the show fell through. Somebody knew Iris and said, oh, you've got to come over to this woman's townhouse. It's literally like a hoarder filled with outrageous clothing and purses and jewels, and at 85 years old she became famous, and at the age of 100 they celebrated her century birthday with she was on the cover of Harper's Bazaar in one of her outrageous totally original evening gowns.
That is so fascinating.
Oh, it was.
Find that celebration in us at any age. I made a Empowerment Zone Red annual gala 3 years ago, and next year would be our third year anniversary. But how it started is I would come up to women and male, and I would ask how they are celebrating their achievements. And it was no ever clear answer on how they're celebrating. And that's how the Empowerment Zone Red Annual Gala actually started. And I want people to come and celebrate, not just to hear the keynote speakers, although we have fascinating keynote speakers throughout the event, but it's showing up for yourself and celebrate yourself just for that 5 hours, dressed up in the beautiful red accent, red dress or bow tie or something, because red is a significant color of, first of all, passion, power, and resilience, courage, and bravery. So that's where the empowerment zone began at first, and now it's translating into the Empowerment Zone podcast as well. So we can celebrate ourselves every day and remind ourselves that, yes, all hard work and all that dedication and time that we invested to ourselves, now it is time to celebrate. Now it is time to acknowledge of all of that hard work, of all of those hard no's. Now it's a yes, and now it's a time, present time, when to celebrate.
I put together a formula, and it's very simple. In the morning, I wake up with immense gratitude for another day and the beauty that surrounds me. And at night, I go to sleep with an intentional sense of satisfaction for what I've achieved for myself and others. And I do that every day. Be very self aware and know that you have your own power. I think a lot of women do not recognize that, but
Underestimating,
it's true.
underestimating their powers. I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
yes, I think it's just either being installed that way, because in the beginning of our lives, you need to be a pretty little girl, smile, sit like this, don't say
Be good.
extra words, don't do this, be quiet out there, don't be loud there. And we're adapting to that. And it took me 32 years to actually get comfortable and be more aware of what is serving me and how can I serve others.
Yeah. Sometimes saying no is the most important word in your life because everyone's got an opinion of what you should be, who you should be. And a lot of people, a lot of women especially, are taught to accept that is
Norm.
what, no matter how it feels. I just was somebody who was born with something I had to do. Designing fashion for me was like breathing air or drinking water. I had to do it. It was elemental. And no matter how many times people said, no, that is not proper, you shouldn't be doing that, I just didn't buy it. And you know what? Maybe life is a series of mountains you have to climb. But
One is small and one is very high.
could
And
be.
still have to adapt to it.
Yeah, so true.
Diane, what achievement are you most proud of? Not because of the result, but because of who you became in the process.
I think the most proud achievement for me was building a female community around me that I made happy by giving them a bit of their youth back again through a pair of jeans.
Sexy.
It elevated women's lives. It elevated their everyday, minute to minute lives. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm looking to recreate that construction of making people around me, women in particular, happy again in what I'm doing now. So that's my current adventure, but it's also my proudest moment.
Thank you. Let's play a little game. It's a rapid questions, one sentence to reply. I gotta put my glasses though.
Okay.
Um, one word that describes resilience.
Chutzpah.
A habit that changed your life.
Discipline.
A book everyone should read.
Too Young to Be Old, my third book.
The best advice you ever received.
Never give up.
One thing you wish more women believed about themselves.
That you're worthy.
Question. Before we're gonna wrap it up, I'd like to share something special with you that if you are available for not next year, but in 2028 and 2028, that's a huge year for the United States. It's LA, Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games. But I wanted to ask you if you would be joining me as a keynote speaker for the Empowerment Zone Red Annual Gala.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We would fly you in, and we will pay for
Into LA?
not to LA. I'm hosting my Red Annual event here in Michigan. We're only a couple of hours away. It's start getting that big, but yes, it's still here in Michigan. I am having my thoughts to actually do it Red event here in the United States and maybe possibility in different states, just to give a chance for everyone to attend this event and possibility. I'm already thinking to elevate this particular event to the Europe, so we can celebrate women in Europe as well and be connected together as one. But
I would be thrilled. I would be honored. I love it. Yep.
Diane, if someone is listening today, and they will, because we're pre-recording, today is going through one of the hardest seasons of their life, feeling discouraged, uncertain, or ready to give up, what would you want them to remember?
Never give up. Never give in. You have no idea what the next moment is going to bring. It could be that light bulb moment and the success of your life, but you'll never get it if you give up. Don't give up. Life is so very precious. And I can say that at 80 years old. Life is a miracle. But it was never meant to be easy.
In closing, I wanted to ask you, what is empowerment means to you personally?
Give me a chance. Set aside your doubts. Just give me a chance. Empowerment is so different at 80 than it is in more automatic decades, like your 20s or your 30s or your 40s. And I find very often I have to say to somebody, stop doubting me just because of my numerical age, 80. Just give me a chance. And, I think that's what life is about. You have your beliefs and you've got to prove yourself over and over again. It's not just once, it's multiple times on so many different levels. But that's also what makes life so fascinating.
I really love that. And I think I wanted to finish on that high note. Just give me a chance. Diane, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, honesty, and experience with us today. Your story is a powerful reminder that resilience isn't about never failing, it's about rising again with greatness, strength, purpose, and belief in ourselves. Thank you so much for this inspiring afternoon. And I just wanted to finish because I know that I'm usually finished. The power is in you, but I wanted to finish on that. Just give me a chance. It's very powerful statement. Thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with our audience and your success. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. My total pleasure.
Thank you. And remember, everybody, the power is in you. Take care.